What is up, self-made family? It's Mike Maye, aka Captain Wiggler.
$K.
That's K dollar signs. Now, we are sitting here at our kitchen table, having a conversation, and we thought we'd bring you along for the journey. We're bringing it back to an era where people talk with their families around the table, and we're going to have a little discussion. So, we were talking about our trip across the country.
Yeah. You said one day, you said, hey, let's sell this farm. I said, no. We just planted a bunch of trees. Like, I want to see the end of it. So
Right.
I said, no. But then what did you say?
Well, there were a lot of things I said, but one of my favorite ones was, what if we could live the best way we could possibly live in a place that was beautiful with seasons?
Right. And then you talk about debt free and
Yeah.
we can make it happen, market's hot, and all of them things that got me considered. Slept on it.
Yep.
I said, let's go.
Right. So
What are we going to do about the livestock?
we had a lot of things to consider, and that brought about a lot of conversations that I'm sure a lot of you were having. We've got livestock. We've done a lot of work here.
It was, farm was popping.
Right,
We
the-
had farm to fork every other week.
Thank
weekend.
you, by the way, for making it. Your families are part, like our family, and that's one of the biggest things. We had a lot of ties in Pahrump, and we still do. We haven't forgotten about y'all. In fact, we love y'all very much, and we're doing this to pay respects to where we were, and at the same time show you where we're headed. I remember having conversations about where we're going to put the livestock.
Right.
Where are they going to go?
Right. But a lot of our farmers and friends and everybody just basically took care of them for us.
Right, and one of the biggest takeaways, I think, was once we decided to make the move and sell Poof Dirt Farms, everything, at least in my opinion, everything fell into place.
I mean, it was hard though.
It was, look, I'm not going to say it was a cakewalk, because that'd be a damn lie.
Because, remember the prep work we had to do to sell that house?
I still have scars.
I mean, I broke bone.
Yo, she busted a rib in preparation for getting rid of Poof Dirt Farms, and
Yeah.
we don't want to say getting rid of in a sense that we walked away. We met some very awesome people, and they are the perfect fit, we feel, for Poof Dirt Farms, and that was the perfect thing for them. So for them, it lined up, and for us, it most certainly lined up. And now we're here. We are in West by God, Virginia, and we are in the north. I struggle every time we say it.
Yeah, that's complicated.
Yeah.
But anyway.
It's all the directions in one sentence. That's why it's hard.
Yeah, I mean, so let's go over some questions that we always get.
Sure. One of my favorites. What made you move?
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite questions to field. It was also one of the toughest because it depended on who I was speaking to and my mood at the time.
I mean,
For you,
all
what
I
was
can
it?
say is I think we made the right choice.
Totally.
Now look at it. I mean, you're going to see it in the video, how beautiful this place is.
But
I mean, it's a bit cold, but
so, what made you move?
what made me move? Well, according to a lot of research, and remember the pre-trip before we commit to this?
Oh yeah,
You know,
yeah. We took a
so
we took a
this-
weekend trip.
Yeah, no, 48 hours.
Yeah, in and out, in and out.
Yeah, that made me feel like, okay, I'm going back to my hometown.
Awesome.
You know, when I was growing up in the mountain.
Right.
This looks very similar, and a similar climate, you know, out of desert, we're chasing birds. What else do I want?
Right. And for me, I like fishing a lot. And
Oh, yeah.
see that right there?
You fish in somebody's pond if you can.
Right. You make friends with your neighbors, and guess what?
Like, why?
You can fish right down the street. There's water everywhere here, and I'm really excited to bring you guys content for that. But for me, one of the biggest reasons I decided to convince you to move was the opportunity to live a life that didn't require any kind of have-tos. Like, we don't have to work to pay a mortgage. We don't have to do anything besides what we want to do. And that freedom is what inspired, at least for me, the change.
I mean, I still have nightmares of things that I had to.
Right.
Then to keep it going.
Man, she tells me all the time about nightmares she has about food prep and the things. What was that one about what was the produce you had? You only had...
chicken, and I had to bake a bunch of bread in 2 hours or some crazy drink.
Right, but you only had some kind of vegetable, you said. It was like, you only had...
No, I only had chicken.
Okay.
I only had chicken.
Yeah, it was a crazy dream where nothing was prepared and she was scrambling.
Every time I take ibuprofen, I have nightmares.
Yeah, so watch out for
I don't know
ibuprofen. That's the takeaway. But my next favorite question is, what now? That one I get a lot. Like, what are you doing now? Like that one, I got that. I get a lot of questions, and I encourage you guys to reach out. But that one is the number 2. Like, what made you move, and what now? What's next for us?
I'm waiting for the spring to come. I'm blowing out the whole yard. Including the forest back there. Okay, so I have a goal.
Yes, what's the goal?
This immediate backyard forest, right? I see bunch of wildlife. I'm making that as a wildlife habitat.
Sweet.
And then have the ecosystem take care of the garden.
Okay.
And then use that produce to feed the community. And then share the love of gardening and look at it every day. That's my life.
So, I don't know if you guys picked up on that. She's building a literal food forest. Like, in our forested land back here. And you'll see the whole series.
Yeah, because, I love challenges in the science experiments. So I'm thinking like, okay, can I plant a cucumber seed right here on the bottom of the big old tree, and then I just let it go. Like, I'm doing some stupid things. I know you guys gonna tell me, oh, deer's gonna eat that up. Fine.
Right, but that's part of the process.
Yeah.
So, I think the future holds a lot of promise for a number of different reasons. One of my favorites is the fact that, again, we don't have to do anything other than what we love to do. And that freedom will allow for creativity to flow. And one of the biggest takeaways from Poof Dirt Farms, there were several instances, for instance, when the pandemic kicked off, where we had to think outside the box and really, I call it striving to survive.
I mean, outside a lot of boxes.
Yeah, we kicked a lot of boxes over, ran through a couple walls, and really had to figure it out as we went. But by the grace of God, we were here. And so one of the biggest things is doing the things that we're passionate about. I think, for instance, we're talking about food forests, quite literally. I'm talking about 100% carbon neutral bait shop, like fueled by rainwater and solar power. We're talking about really cool stuff that will allow us to not only teach but thrive, absent the obligation of, oh dang, it's the first.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that comes every month.
Oh Lord, and see the first, yeah, she's right, it's the first day of every month. It's a thing that happens 12 times a year, and it's one of those things where a lot of people run into barriers. And one of the things, for me, what's next is teaching people. I'm dedicated to teaching people how to do it, because we are not superhuman.
No.
We are not extraordinary people. We are very humble, we live humbly, and we give God the glory, because there were a couple of instances, as you'll see, that we could have very easily died along 9 short days. Should have been 9 ways to die on a road trip, or not. I mean, but by the grace of God, we're here. And so that, I think that's the exciting part for me. And my the third most frequently asked question, we get, why'd you move? What are you doing now? And the third one, so you're in West Virginia. What made you choose West Virginia? That was the third question.
That's simple for me.
Right, go.
So one of my students, this is not made up, this is a real, one of my students was teaching vocals. She chose to sing Country Road. You know, if you're teaching her for like 6 months straight, that song's kind of stuck in your head, right?
Tattooed on your brain.
And then you're going, okay, Oregon, no. California, hell no. Utah, oh no. Montana, too cold. Cheyenne, it's a little too expensive. You know, Arizona, well, that's hot.
Right.
If you're going out and then you start going to the middle, it's like, no, that's a tornado already, that's no.
Right.
And then you go into Florida, it's like, no, I don't want to see no alligator and then hurricane. And then you go to New York, and it's like, I don't want to deal with those people. Oh, West Virginia. Oh, there you go.
Right.
Then I start researching it.
See, so God plants seeds. Now, for me, I chose West Virginia for a number of reasons. One, the state motto, mountaineers are always free. Freedom and the pursuit of those freedoms is your God-given right as an American. And I love guns, I love God, I love country, I love fishing, and I love people who have that mind state. And for me, the mountaineer mindset was what lured me in. This video is a part of our documentary series, the Road Trippers series on our channel. And in it, we explore. We take you along for the journey, and we want you to really immerse yourself in the experience. It's not always sunshine and rainbows.
Right, and then in some sketchy place, I couldn't even go out to take pictures, or, you know, wasn't really all that, or simply too beautiful and forgot taking pictures.
Because we were stuck in the moment. Right, and we want you to take it all in. So without further ado, please enjoy the show and the journey. Most importantly, the journey. It's not always about the destination, but the in-between portions that make it really cool. So
yeah, now we're gonna take you from the day before, a couple of days
before. And then the fire drill that was getting out in time to record, which
God, that was crazy.
when you like no sleep, delirium sets in, and you just got to keep plugging away. We'll take you through all of that, the raw emotions, the apprehensions we had, the walls we ran into, and everything. Because see, if we just showed you the good part, we'd be lying.
Yeah.
And that would be doing you a disservice.
Now, if you want to do it,
right,
we can tell you how not to do what we did.
Right, totally.
So you can always have a great 9-day trip.
Right, so
somebody had to do it.
Somebody had to do some beta testing for y'all, and we were dumb enough, blessed enough to do it. So please enjoy the show, and we'll check in with you then. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment below with what your thoughts are, and we'll see you on the next one. What is up, mother fishies? It's the kid Mike May, aka Captain Wiggler, coming into you live and direct from Poof Dirt Farms, probably for the last time. Just kidding, we got one more coming for you. Look, on Self-Made today, we are building a cargo trailer out of this flat trailer here. Stay tuned, keep it locked, and when you want it done right, do it yourself. Self-Made. Okay, so in this shot, we are rough framing the cargo insert for my truck bed. Now, the fish getter got a series of upgrades ahead of this road trip. We gave it a master tune-up, we got new tires for it, we did a whole bunch of new things to make sure that it was solid for the road trip, which is something I recommend if you're going to make this journey. You don't want to get right outside of the gate after selling your house and break down. So, take the time to do proper maintenance.
Here in this sequence, we're rough framing the cargo insert that goes in the bed.
The truck, I said, you guys get there, just take it out of the truck, put it down, fill it with dirt, raised bed.
Exactly.
Real shit.
I like that.
The,
First stuff you grow.
the Chevy truck bed.
Chevy truck bed.
We had an idea where I would use a truck topper for keeping all of our stuff immediately accessible and dry across the country as we journeyed out. Here we're using 2x6s to frame it out, and this sits between the wheel wells of my truck bed to allow us to store extra stuff in 2 layers. We had tools, we had our luggage, a whole bunch of stuff for Biggie, and emergency items stored in the bed of my truck so that we could access it after we closed the Freedom Wagon. So once we built the cargo box and we stored all of our stuff in there, we closed it in, as you'll see later, but we had to be able to access these things, and this is the first start of that. Now, my favorite part. We took this 12x5 single axle cargo trailer and converted it into what we call the Freedom Wagon. Now, I don't know about you, but something about paying ridiculous money to have other people do something that I could do was the reasoning behind this. The logic was sound, meaning we decided to do it ourselves. I'm a metal guy, and as you see here, we've begun the rough framing. This is 1.5 by 1.5 by 0.65 wall square tube, which is lightweight and durable. It's steel and welded directly to my trailer's existing frame. That meant it was secure and proved to be a solid foundation from which we built the Freedom Wagon. So if you're a fab guy and you build stuff, you can understand the need to be flexible with material that isn't. If you look at these first photos, you can understand that that's a little tall for a cargo trailer with a single axle. Now, we got this wall vertical after assembling it on the ground in my shop behind it and realized that 8 foot was a little too tall. Also, in retrospect, really glad that we decided to shorten the wall height and allow for a cargo bed on top for our canoe. Happy accidents, as Bob Ross would say. I decided to resize the walls because of the things we mentioned earlier. This is the resized new wall panel, and I assembled it on a level and square surface to make sure that it would fit properly against the existing angle iron frame of my cargo trailer. Always wear proper PPE, even when it's hot out. In this video sequence, if you notice, my shirt is dark gray. When I started the day in the intro video, it was light gray. It was really hot, but I still wore all of my full PPE. To all my welders, I feel you. Look at that Miller in the background. She was warm, and inside my shop, it was a good $1.15 when we were fabbing this out. But hey, self-made, right? You can really start to see the frame come together. This is the superstructure after resizing both sides of the wall panels and installing cross braces at the front and rear of the trailer itself. Notice there's about a foot clearance on the roof of the trailer, which you'll see later but came in great handy when I was hauling this awesome canoe. Shout out Tom Ferguson. Mr. Fergie, thank you, man. We love you. We hauled this cargo plus that canoe across the country. We use that as a cargo rack, and in the future it will be home for a solar array that will make this whole thing off-grid. We are adding the additional braces. These are 4-inch by 1.5-inch channel that are also used as track, which are the top and bottom layers of steel stud wall framing. They are 16 and 18 gauge depending on which one you use, and these are really strong and allowed me to have additional support while also offering a place to secure the sheet when we went to assemble the trailer. This was imperative. It allowed me to be able to walk on the roof and know that I wouldn't fall through the roof. First of all, self-made wouldn't be self-made without a team. Shout out to Rudy, Adam, Jason, and Ty as we built this thing out. Here you can see that we are assembling the sheathing prior to putting the cladding on, which was also corrugated steel. It's really coming together in this photo, and what you can't see, other than the tired and everybody's faces, is the fact that this took 2 days to build out. By this point, we were up against a wall, and we had no choice but to finish it. All full speed ahead to the end. Shout out again to all these guys, man, because without them, we wouldn't be where we are today.